That got really weird.
Yeah, why did he pick up the lotion in the picture patch?
Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you are listening. Joined with me this time, we've got Chris Cute.
What do you mean this time? Hey, how you doing?
Alan Robinson.
How you doing?
Joe Whitaker.
You're right, Tom, yeah.
And with a self-confessed love for Seaside Rick, although we're not quite sure who that is, it's Jamie Payne.
How you doing, everyone?
Also, a huge welcome. As everyone knows, you see the thumbnails, etc. With us tonight also Mr. Franc, and I hope I pronounced this right, Sumandl.
That's correct. How are you doing, guys?
Wow. I'll be right back with you in a second, Franc. We've just got some shout outs for people as always. So over on Facebook, we've got Robert Evans. On YouTube, Bob Rawson over at Plostrom Crafts, Anthony Tobar, Shogun Jimmy, Ragtie, Ian Brody Smith, Robert Evans, Steve Twidell from Temple Boy Turnings. Don't worry, Steve, your secret is still safe with me. Jim Dockrell, Ian Hay, Wigwag Workshop, and Mitre Mike's Workshop as well. And then over on SoundCloud, Jerry Blakesley, Ryan Bitters, and I don't know what happened to him, but he's back now anyway, Jason McGinn. Don't forget, you can also rate us on iTunes and all the platforms that you listen to us on. We love to hear all your feedback. So come and get in touch and you'll get a shout out. Do we have any random listener questions or anything happening before we dive in with Franc this week?
Yeah, before we get to that kind of stuff, I just want to make I want to jump in real quick. On a quick personal side note, I wanted to say a big congratulations to our very own Jamie Page for surpassing 1,000 subscribers on YouTube last week. So congratulations, Jamie.
Nice one, Jamie.
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
But wait. Trust me, it gets better because this has gone to his head already. I noticed that last Thursday, our very own Mr. Page, along with Chad from Mancrafting, they were on a live hangout exclusively with Izzy Swan. A live hangout that got watched by thousands of people, by the way. And it was great because Izzy was asking them for channels that they would watch and that they would recommend. And so, of course, I expected Jamie to say, Pat Lappy and, Paul Jackman, which he did. But guess who he just totally didn't say?
Well, he didn't say my channel. Did he say yours, Chris?
He didn't say mine either. Alan G, did he say yours, Richard?
Not that I know of.
What happened?
Joe, did he say your name? No, he didn't say Josie. He didn't mention his podcast mates at all, and he was given an opportunity to do so. So, Jamie, I just want you to know, we're going to remember that, buddy. Great, appreciate it. Thanks.
That's because you're all acquaintances, not mates.
I see how it is. Oh, okay.
It's like that. We do give him a fair bit of stick, though, to be honest, don't we?
That's all right. No, that's all right. I just want to say thank
nothing
you.
I can't handle. I've got my friend Frank here with me now.
But oddly enough, he didn't mention Frank either. So I just
didn't you also make another best friend as well, Jamie, this week over on Twitter?
Yes, I did. Justin, the Scroll Source Scribbler. He wants to know why Twitter followers don't get shout outs. And he wants to know, is it because his scroll source skills are so intimidating to your anti-scroll source stance?
Oh, no.
How do you answer that? I mean, do we really hate scroll sawing?
Power to the scrollers.
I hate it.
I dislike scroll sawing, but I don't dislike scroll sawers. There is a difference. Each to their own. It's the 21st century, and everyone can have their little sideline. Absolutely, exactly, absolutely, yes. That's not me, by the way. I'm not Seaside Rick, in case anyone's wondering. I just want to point that out right from the get-go. Okay, I think now it's time to move on. Definitely, we're going to move on. So, Franc.
Yes.
We do have some questions because I think Jamie and his new best Twitter buddy got together and just requested a load of questions from people. So if it's all right, we'll add those into the show. But I don't really know you that well. Obviously, I watch your videos, and I genuinely love some of the stuff that you put out. I mean, the artistic value of it and the comedic value of it, it just all for me wraps up really, really well. But I don't want to steal this portion of the beginning. Has anyone else got any questions or anything they want to ask Frank before I sort of dive in with the...
Well, I wanted to start him off the same way we start everybody off, and just give us a quick rundown of your origin stories and how you started on YouTube, and just where it all began for Sawblade Projects.
Okay, let me introduce myself first. I'm 41 years old. I started with this channel like 1 year ago. It was January 2016 when I recorded my first episode, my first video. And I got inspired, like so many of you, from other woodworkers on YouTube. Like my first inspiration was Steve Ramsey, Steve Carmichael, Nick Ferry. And I was watching these videos like for 2-3 years before actually I decided to make my first video. I had a lot of experience in my shop from before because, you know, like a house owner, you have always something to do around the house, in the house. And so like this, I had the tools, I had experience, and it was not so hard to start.
So you started woodworking like when you bought your first home?
Exactly.
Awesome.
And before that, when one was in the high school, my dad had a company. He was a blacksmith. So we had a really big shop, and he was doing metalworking, stuff with metal, gates, doors like this. So he taught me a lot at this time.
So do you do any blacksmithing now?
No, I don't have the tools. No.
But it is because I love watching blacksmithing videos. And if you've got that background as well, and I was thinking, I don't remember seeing any smithing in your videos, but that might be that I've missed them. But I'm kind of relieved now that you said that you haven't got the tools in a way. But is that something you potentially could bring into your videos, or that interests you, or is it just something that, you know, is in your past, as it were?
Well, you know, first of all, I don't have the tools, so I have experience. I still remember how to do things because I was helping a lot in my high school, but I don't have the tools and how to say, the machines to start blacksmithing. So,
right.
Yeah.
Is it something you would have a desire to do, or is it just something you know how to do, and if you were asked, you would do it, but it's not something you really love doing?
Well, maybe I could do a project, maybe a combination with wood and blacksmithing. That will be, I think, awesome. But not really to do it every day, you know. It's too hard and dirty, and, you know.
Dirty rather than dusty, so
and dusty as well. Yes, yeah.
Sure. Well, I was going to ask you, actually, were you a tradesman, or, you know, you just did it as a hobby, DIY type side? And the reason I was going to ask that was, firstly, you know, obviously the skill level that you've attained over the period of time, but also you've got a rather recent addition to your workshop. And I was going to ask this question anyway, but Eloy Escojedo specifically wanted to ask us about this. He says he sees the tools in your shop, in your videos. What is the story with your table saw? Because that is no ordinary table saw, is it? That's not an average DIYer's piece of machinery. That's a little bit more industrial. So what's the story with that?
Yeah, well, you know, I was dreaming about this table saw for at least 1.5, 2 years, because I wanted to have something decent in my shop. In my future, I want to build some furniture for myself and for my family. And with the setup I had before, it was not possible. So that was the idea, to get some decent tools, and at least if I stop working in a few years, or I don't know, in 10 years, I can still sell the machines. Yeah.
What kind of table saw is that? Do you mind mentioning what brand it is? Just because I'm totally unfamiliar. I saw your table saw. It's quite impressive, but I've never seen one like it. So I'm really interested to know who made it.
It's a combination unit from SCM, Italian SCM Minimax.
Oh, Minimax. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So that's a proper monster, isn't it? It's a thicknesser planer. Has it got a molding head on it as well?
As well, yes.
Yeah, so that's a rather. I mean, the footprint of that machine would not fit in my workshop, let alone with enough space to. I mean, probably Chris would probably tuck it under a drawer somewhere on the corner, like. But for me, that literally you wouldn't have the. You couldn't get it in the room, let alone work around it. I mean, that's a pretty beastly machine. That. So I think. Go on.
Yeah, before I got this machine, it was like 3 months ago. I was working with my small Makita and the Makita planer, and I was using these machines for like 2 years, and I could sell them for like maybe $100 less than I pay for them. So I think it's better to have the machines and work with them, and when you don't need them anymore, you can still sell them. So.
Absolutely, and it's like any tool. When it's a joy to use, it's a joy to use, and you very soon forget the price tag. It's only really other people that look at the price tag 2 years down the line. So, have you had any comments about it from the negative end of the spectrum?
No, not negative. All the comments I got was actually positive. On YouTube, on Facebook, from my friends, from my coworkers. I never got some negative comments or negative experience. Never.
Brilliant. I'm really glad to hear that, actually, because it did make me kind of wonder. But, sorry, Chris, I had to get that in there about the large saw.
That's okay.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So I asked about the comments, the negative comments, Frank, but Ragtie has specifically got a question for you. He wants to know, what is your favourite troll story? Have you had any kind of issues, or even if you've seen anything?
No. I actually don't have a troll story to tell. I don't have a negative comment. On YouTube, on Facebook, it never happened. I don't know why, because my videos, if you watch them, I put a lot of comedy inside when I can.
Yeah.
So that could be a potential reason for someone to troll at my content, but it never happened. I don't know why.
Well,
I'm heading over to your channel right now.
I was going to say, now that Jamie knows, check it tomorrow. You may have a different story to tell.
Floodgate open.
I don't know. Maybe they're afraid when they see me. I don't know.
So your workshop. I mean, whereabouts is your workshop? I mean, is it attached to your house? Is it separate premises? Whereabouts do you kind of do most of your stuff?
I live at Slovenia, as everybody knows, and it is on the border with Austria. So from my house, you can see the border. It's like 200 meters from the border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that means that I'm almost every day or every second day in Austria. So it's Europe is like this. There are no borders anymore. So you can go over, you can go back. And it's like it's getting like one nation.
Frank, excuse me for a second, because I'm a little geographically challenged here. Okay, so Slovenia, because you live in what's the name of the city you live in? Is it Segovici or
Segovce? This is a small village, like 100 people. It's really small.
So let me see if I got this right. Slovenia is actually located south of Austria.
Exactly.
But it borders Hungary and Italy. Is that correct?
And Croatia in the south.
And Croatia in the south. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Good. My high school geographical teacher would be very happy with me right now.
We say always when tourists are coming that we are on the sunny side of the Alps. So on the south side.
Every time you leave Austria, do you always say, "Don't worry, I'll be back"?
Yeah, actually, you said this now. It reminds me on Arnold Schwarzenegger, the place where he was born. It's like 50 kilometers from here away. So it's.
Do they have an Arnie statue there?
No.
They have a museum.
Before the football stadium was named after him, Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium, but now not anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, they terminated it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right after he became the governor of California, they just severed ties immediately. It's like,
Yeah, I guess so. So, okay, let's go back to the question, to my workshop. It's actually a 2-car garage. It's not attached to the house. It's in front of my house. It's in square feet. It's about 350 square feet. And
Reasonable
with
size, then.
Yeah, with high ceilings. And I put my tools on the left side and my work table on coasters. So that means that I still can put on the right side my car inside.
So you've got a huge, well, I say huge, well, comparatively speaking, a decent sized workshop with a gargantuan table saw, but you still manage to, if you want, fit your car in there as well.
Exactly.
I think you're about the only person I know that actually does that. Most people just, is that a weather related thing? Because I'm thinking Alps, snow, winter, cold. But
yeah, until now we had a lot of snow. And it was like minus 10, minus 15 degrees.
Right, so you don't want your car parked outside in that weather if you don't need to.
Exactly.
That makes. But presumably in the summer, you're like, no, car can be outside. I've got the whole space. You can get some decent sized projects in there.
Exactly. I'm planning after 2 or 3 years to move my shop behind the house because there I have some more space. It's like a shed, but it's empty and I don't have electricity inside and nothing. So I have to prepare it, and it's even bigger. It's like about 600 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We'll have to start getting you on and taking the mickey out of the size of your shop then. In that case, that's a really good size.
yeah, help him on. Get me off the hook.
But I have time.
But it kind of, I don't know if there's a bit of a trend going here, because 2017 seems to be the year that people are moving workshops. So obviously, you're planning to. Jimmy's planning to. April put a video out recently where she's planning to. I said at the end of last year that I've got planning permission from the other half to build a bigger workshop, not much bigger. But it seems to be. Does anyone else? Just while I'm one. Anyone out there? Everyone's shaking their heads. Everyone else is staying put.
I wish I was changing workshop. I wish I was getting a bigger space, but it's not on the cards at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of work. You have to change this, and it's also it costs a lot. I know how much money I put in this shop now with the tools and everything, and you can barely buy a car for this money. So
it soon adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It soon adds up. Cool. Well, before I carry on with it anymore, has anyone else got a question from Joe or Chris or Jamie, or should I just carry on through?
I watched some of or went through Frank's videos today, and he's got a lot of videos with Pat Lapp in it. And I want to know where the connection is there. I just want to know if he's trying to steal him from Paul Jackman.
Are you a bit jealous?
Very jealous.
I don't know. Pat Lab is responsible for this, that he was opening the door that I came into this community. He was inviting me, and I like to make stuff. It was like 1 year ago. And I don't know, he was like an older brother for me, we had a lot of conversations, and he was in my video in May, and we did a small video like he was shooting him now.
Yeah, with the banana.
Exactly.
That's so funny, that video.
And I don't know, maybe we had some same sense of humor, or I don't know. We have a connection, I think.
Yeah.
I can see Jamie's going a little bit green with envy. I think he's getting a little bit jealous.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm happy to share. I'm happy to share Pat with Frank.
Do you need a moment, Jamie?
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes.
Bless him. Bless him. He'll be back in a minute.
That got really weird.
Yeah, why did he pick up the lotion in the picture of Pat?
Okay, next question it is then. Eloy's also asked, Makita or DeWalt?
I just have a DeWalt. That's everything I have. Everything else is Makita or Bosch Blue.
Is that like a bit due to sort of personal preference, or is that availability? Just purely curious.
I have a pretty good dealer here in the neighborhood, Makita dealer. I think is the second biggest in the country. And everything I need is in stock. So I just go there and this and this and this, and I can barely bring it with me at home. So maybe this is the main reason why I have Makita. And it's good tools. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with the tools. Yeah.
I mean, I've been using the Makita. I think it's the same table saw you had, the MLT.
Yeah, 100. Yes.
And I got that because it was in my price bracket. You know, it's not the best saw. It's certainly not a cabinet saw, but it's a half decent portable saw at the end of the day, which is what it's meant to be. And I get on all right with it. You know, obviously we'd love to have a bigger one, but I think when you get Makita, Bosch, you know, all those kind of trade brands, they're fairly identical. And I mean, for me, it just boils down to what's local, what's available. And that was obviously the reason I questioned the availability side.
A lot of those tools are, and I don't want to clump them in. I don't know this by the back of my hand, but a lot of those tools are made by the exact same company. And I forget what the relations is. There's like 3 big tool manufacturers, and a lot of the brands that we look at are actually made by them. So, you know, and I'm not saying DeWalt and Makita are made at the same factory. I don't know enough to say that. But, I mean, there are a lot of those comparisons where you might see Porter Cable and DeWalt made at the same factory. So it's the same tool, just different brand. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding of it is that a lot of these companies, I mean, you just pick a brand, basically pick a color. That brand it wouldn't be economical for them to have a factory geared up to make circular saws and drills and table saws and band saws, and all the tools. It's more economical for a company to be set up to make table saws, and then you get a cheaper price for very, very similar, if not almost identical, and there are identical stuff out there that all come out of basically the same factories. But I mean, it's going to be down to availability for the most part, I guess. So cool. Eloy also wanted to ask, how's the flag holding up? Now, I've got a follow-on to that question because I don't rightly know what he's referring to there. So do you want to explain a little bit around that as well?
Yeah, this project was actually for my cousin's son. So people are asking me, this is my son? But he's not. He's my cousin's son. And she asked me to make something because he was collecting these flags. So I said, okay, I will make something, but I want to film it. She said, okay, just do it. And that was the idea, to make something where he can put these sticks inside, these flags. And he's now having, I think, about 55, 56. And it's getting more and more every day. So I think I have to find some other solution for the future for him.
So surely these aren't full-size, like flagpole size flags?
No, those are small flags, like 30 by...
sort of thing that kids wave when
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I was going to say, that's like 50 flags. Like, that's a procession of people.
No.
Cool. So if we were sort of looking at this, I'm going to say I've got one here that Bill Sim wants to ask, and I think Jamie wanted to ask it as well. And I'm dying to know. But I'm going to keep that one back because that might take us elsewhere. But Ragtie's asked. It's a bit of a bizarre question. I hope you don't mind. It's a bit weird, this one. Sorry, Ragtie, but I'm looking at this question thinking it's a bit of an odd one. But anyway, if you had a nice piece of ham and you dropped it in your shop, would you A, throw it away, B, slice off the part that touched the floor, C, wipe it with a rag and keep eating, or G, I don't know where D, E and F went, blow it off with your air compressor, take it back and swap it so nobody knew?
I will take the air compressor, I think.
Go back inside, swap it out so that nobody ever knew.
Yeah.
You're an evil man, Frank. You're an evil man.
Fair enough. But you can see why I thought that was a bit of an odd question. Okay. Well, something that I wanted to ask then, and if anyone hasn't watched these videos, then they really should head out over to your channel, because you did a 12 days of Christmas build, didn't you?
Yes.
And they were released. Were they every day for 12 days, or were they about that? It was. If it wasn't every day, they were in quick succession, weren't they?
No.
How on earth did you manage to keep to such a schedule at that time of the year and still be out? Did you start making them in July and then just keep them, or were they genuinely made day on day, or how? Because that's no mean feat.
Well, the plan was to put out 12 videos, but because we went to vacation to Germany over Christmas, I could put I think it was 8.
Right.
And I started to make them in the beginning of December, almost every weekend. And I had some days off, like Friday or Monday. And if we will not go to vacation, I think it will be 12 videos. So,
I mean, life always gets in the way, but that's still like 8 videos in a short space of time. That's a busy, with work and family and everything else. And they weren't all super quick projects either, were they? I mean, there were some quite involved things that you put out there, if I remember rightly. I mean, I'm just looking down the list here of the ones, because it tells you the little red line, the ones that you've watched and the ones that you haven't. The lollipop, the Christmas tree lollipop. I mean, that was on the face of it, a fairly simple project, but there was a lot of time for painting and drying, and just
exactly.
Your other half must be very, very sympathetic to your hobby.
Exactly. I wanted, for me, Christmas is a special time, as for my family, and I wanted to put every day something, one day for the kids, one day for the woman, one day for for grandfather, for everyone in the family should have a special video. So it was time consuming, yes, but I managed to work at 2 or 3 projects at the same time. So when something was drying, I was finishing the other project, or I don't know, I was working at 2-3 projects at the same time, actually.
So then you get to mix things around. Now, I was going to say, did that have to happen, particularly as they weren't necessarily, day after day after day after day? That surely just makes things. I mean, I'm rubbish at doing that. I've got about 3 projects on the go at the moment, 2 in editing, one I started 2 or 3 months ago. By the time you get back into the footage and start re-editing, you've lost where you are, and it all just becomes a big jumble of raw footage and part finished projects. And then just trying to juggle all that for me is nigh on impossible. So then you add into that a tight schedule anyway. I mean, I cannot possibly comprehend how anyone can manage to do all that multitasking and still put out those kind of quality videos as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and when you download then to your PC 3-4 videos, and you don't know which part belongs to which one, so it's not so easy.
And you lose a clip here, and you lose it, and then you randomly find it after you've edited it out, and it just becomes a complete. And this is what people that don't put videos out don't necessarily understand. They get the make a video making the video or making the project, edit it, upload it, people watch it. But it is far more complicated than that. And I mean, that's brilliant the way you managed to juggle all that and do it. So if you haven't been over to Frank's channel and watched those videos, start with those is my recommendation, because there's some, like you said, there's something for everybody in there. Brilliant.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Frank a couple of questions, if you don't mind, Richard. I'll jump in just for a quick.
You dive in head first, my friend.
Frank's YouTube channel, by the way, is Sawblade Projects. If you haven't checked it out, go search on YouTube, Sawblade Projects. Give the man a subscription because he's worth watching. Frank, I noticed, because I started watching you a while back. I think it may have been a couple months after you first started your YouTube channel. I don't remember the exact date. I apologize. I didn't write it down. But the first actual kind of project video that you had that you put on your channel was a video about how to make your own cutting boards. And you, my friend, make some fantastic cutting boards. You don't happen to give them away for free, do you? Because please say yes. No?
You need some?
No. I just need another monkey off my back. You're already here to take the biggest chop off my back. I'm hoping that cutting board thing can go with you too.
He'll swap you from Jumper Beach.
I'm passing the buff on your friend. No, but I'm 100% sincere. You make lovely cutting boards, and I think you just put out a video on, I believe it was Sunday, about how to keep your cutting boards nice and clean and safe, and and how to finish your cutting boards so they don't get damaged in the future. And so, I just want to say, brilliant work, my friend. I mean, because you do some really nice work, and if you haven't checked out Frank, go look at his channel and subscribe to him, because the man does awesome work. That's it.
Yeah, I've got another quick question. You mentioned that you went to Germany over the Christmas period, and some people may or may not know that you actually follow Borussia Dortmund, which is a football or soccer team.
Yes.
So what I want to know is boxers or briefs?
Oh God.
This combination, not boxes, combination between boxes and briefs,
He's a tweener. He's a tweener, baby.
Do you mean both at the same time?
Both at the same time? Well, it does get cold over there.
Yeah.
Long johns and knee-high socks.
Oh my God. Frank's a tweener. I like it. Hey, Frank, the only little bone I want to pick with you, and I have one bone, and it's not a harmful bone to pick with you, but I did want to say I had a request.
Okay.
Could you do me a favor and lose that damn New York Yankees shirt you wear in your videos? Okay, maybe that's wrong. I shouldn't ask that, but that's sorry.
He's friends with Jay Rivera, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay already knows how I feel about that. I'm a Red Sox fan. That's okay, Frank. I watch your videos anyway. It's just that's an eyesore when I see it. I go, oh, God. What? Anyway.
It's actually a jacket, and in 2 months it will be warm, so I will not wear it anymore. So.
Oh, thank you, Frank. Thank you. See, I love this man. I love him.
Chris is a big Boston fan.
Boston.
It's Boston. Yeah.
How do you say Boston in Boston?
It's close to that. But that's with a Canadian accent. You don't hear that much.
Boston, eh?
How are you? You bunch of yelpers.
Hosers.
I can honestly say, as an Englishman, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And after our Yorkshire pudding conversation last week, I'm just going to let you go with it for a little while.
All right, am ya?
Well, I'll just open up another question then. What shampoo do you use?
He does have beautiful hair.
He does have very beautiful hair.
It's good, nice.
Actually, shampoo for kids. Because it smells so good.
First of all, A, I can't believe Jamie asked that, and B, I can't believe Frank, you answered it. But whatever.
That was a quality answer as well. I was just going to ask, is that because when I was a kid, I used to hate, and I still do hate getting shampoo in my eyes because it really stings.
Johnson's no tears.
Do you know what? That is just a big marketing con, because that stuff for me is like sulfuric acid. It is like a nightmare. Like, no more tears, my rear. Not true. Bill wants to know, how good is Mikol wood glue?
As I said last time,
you seem to like it.
Yes, I like it. For me, it's the best one I ever used. So I was using other glues before, like Tide Bond, Bison, I don't know, some German brands.
Right.
For me, it's the best one, and it's also not so expensive. You know, for this small bottle, like 500 milliliters, I pay around €3. It's
that
$3.
is cheap. Yeah, that's really reasonable price.
Yeah.
Do you have any problems with storing it, like particularly this time of year when it's really cold? Or
yeah, because my shop is not heated. When it's in January, it was like -5 inside. So I always put the glue with me in the house. So
wait a minute, hold on, because I was going to ask you this question. In your last video, over your shoulder, I noticed what looked like to be either a gas or a pellet stove. Is that not a heating unit for your shop, or is that just a heating unit you have that doesn't work as well as you'd like?
No, it's a stove. Yeah, I installed it last year. But, you know, usually I work Saturday, Sunday when I have time. And in the week, I don't heat inside because I come home late from work. And that means Saturday I wake up, I make the fire. After 2-3 hours, I go inside, and then I work all the Saturday. And without heating, you couldn't work. It's too cold inside. You know?
I was going to ask you how that was working for you, because I mean, my shop definitely. And forgive me, guys, I'm stealing Frank for a second for my own selfish purposes.
No, you go ahead.
I need to heat my shop too, and I didn't know how that actually worked out for you. Does it take a couple hours to get the shop up and nice and warm, or is it something that happens pretty quick? Or I don't know what kind of unit you have. First of all, is it gas, or is it like a pellet, or is it a wood stove?
No, it's a wood stove. It's a wood stove, and you have a lot of cutouts. It's the first. Then I have a little bit wood behind the house. And there was a chimney before in this garage, so I just had to install the stove. So it was not a big deal for me to install it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good for you, my friend. I wish I had one. I need to go to work on that, I guess. Next project I'll be doing in the middle of summer. I'm installing heating in my shop in the middle of summer. That ought to go over well. What do you think, guys?
It can't be any worse than a rotten. I was really, really disappointed that birch tree was rotten.
Yeah, you? Yeah, I was really disappointed.
Because I was hoping you'd be able to get some beautiful veneers off that and then laminate them all together.
Yeah. Make some plywood.
Yeah. I thought you were going to get a little sideline going there.
No. Yeah, I was rather disappointed about that myself, but hey, it is what it is.
So,
Frank, let me ask you a question, because because you're in Slovenia, and we've had people from all over the world on with us. What is your experience as far as making in your community? I mean, is there a fairly large community of people that do what you do, that you present to us on YouTube, or is it rather small? What's the cost of materials, blah blah blah, all the way down the line? Like if you're familiar with what you're having to deal with in Slovenia as opposed to somewhere else, possibly in Europe, is it pretty much status quo with like Germany, or do you know?
Yeah. There is a lot of makers, but nobody's doing it on YouTube like me. So people usually, they know how to work with hands. And in each house, they have a shop or a metal shop or woodworking shop, or at least some tools, and they know how to do something. But nobody's filming like me. So when people are watching the videos, and they don't even know that I'm from Slovenia. So that's the funny part. And it happened that somebody saw me somewhere, and he was looking at me and told me, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube." You know, it's really funny.
That freaks you out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So is it sort of a traditional, handed down kind of cultural thing that in your part of the world there are a lot of makers, or is it just that there's lots of people with that hobby? You know, what's the kind of the backstory to that, if that makes sense?
Before it was like 30, 40 years ago, it was more professional. But now it's getting more and more like a hobby, because people, they have jobs in, I don't know, in the town, in offices, and it's more a hobby or more to do something for your house, you know.
Right. So, I mean, is there like a shortage of tradesmen, or is it just that people like to do that so they don't get the tradesmen in?
No, more people like to do this, like more like a hobby. Yeah.
I wish more places were like that. If for no other reason, that there'd be more tools available.
Yeah, because, you know, in my country, it's a little bit different like in the rest of Europe. Here, people usually, they own the houses. They don't rent. So it means they buy a house or they build a house and they stay inside until they get retired or until, I don't know, they die. And like this, they always do something in the house, outside the house, in the garden. And they don't think for the next 5 years. They think what will happen in the next 20, 30 years. Yeah.
There's much more ownership in
Exactly.
owning a house, rather than, you know, you take more pride in this is my house rather than this is a house that someone else owns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the world over, that whole rented thing has been sort of, it has devalued a house. It's not home so much anymore, and that's, you know, from a personal point of view, I think that's a bad thing. I don't know if anyone else would, you know, because I don't know how everyone else is fixed in terms of. I just assume people own their houses.
Well, it really depends on the area you're living in, I suppose, and you know, what the situation is. Because I mean, there's not a lot of people that actually live inside New York City that own their homes. But Frank, I wanted to ask you, in Slovenia, what are the indigenous types of wood that you have readily available to you? I mean, because in different parts of the world, different regions, there is always a different species of wood. Do you have something that is rather unique to Slovenia, or is it? You know, are we talking still typical pine, things of that nature? I mean, what kind of grows in your area that you have a lot of available to you that you can use in your wood projects?
Yeah, we have a lot of pine and spruce in the mountains, like everywhere in Europe. But, you know, this is softwood. You can't really make some furniture out of it. But we also have like maple and walnut and cherry and oak, a lot of oak. Yeah. And it's not so expensive. So 1 cubic meter of oak, for example, I pay on the sawmill dried about 750 euros.
And that's a meter, cubic meter.
Cubic meter, yes, and dried.
That's a fairly reasonable price, actually.
Right, but if you know someone like farmers or somebody on the land, you can get the same air dried for like 450.
The price is always they start to just spiral out of control as soon as you start having things milled or dried and milled, and it just goes bonkers. I did have a list. I'm desperately trying to find it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it in time without it having to be a ridiculous break of prices that are comparative to that. But just from the oak point of view, I think European oak is, and you're gonna want to swing for me with this, Chris. Generally, is a nicer timber than the American oak because it has such a hard life in the winter. I mean, particularly in your area where you've got, you know, freezing cold and snow and harsh weather. If you've got that, if that tree's growing in relatively milder conditions throughout the year, it has an easier growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it probably does, but I mean, there's a lot of science behind wood when you look at it that way, because when you have a tree that's growing up in that environment, it tends to grow faster, which means the grain tends to not to be quite as tight.
Yeah.
If you have a stagnant period in wood growth, like for instance an oak tree, and like when fall comes and the tree begins to go into hibernation, it slows that growing process down. So it begins again. The grain in the wood actually becomes tighter. It becomes actually a harder wood. So I don't know. I don't know the comparison. I've never worked with European oak as opposed to American oak. I have very limited experience there, Richard. I know red oak in America, and I know white oak in America, in North America anyway. Outside of that, I couldn't compare the two to you because I just don't have the experience to do so.
I've got limited experience with American white oak because for some reason, a lot of my timber suppliers get in American white oak. So if you buy it squared and whatnot off the shelf, it's always American stuff. Whereas if you buy it either green or air dried, it's always European. And it's a nicer colour, I think, the American stuff, but the English oak is much nicer to work with. It's quite bizarre.
Well, I think you're just prejudiced. I mean,
there is going to be that, but I mean, let's face it. Anyone that stands outside in a field for 100 years in all weathers is going to be pretty hard, aren't they? They're going to be.
Alan's over there laughing.
All I keep hearing is hard and hard.
Calm yourself, Alan. Cool. So. You mentioned very briefly there, Frank, that somebody that was local to you had seen you on YouTube. So who do you watch on YouTube? What do you like to watch, and who are you watching at the moment?
At the moment, I really like to watch Kyle Todd videos. I think he's pretty good. I like his style, the music and everything. And of course, every Friday I watch Steve Ramsey. You know, I'm waiting for his episode Friday evening here in Europe. And I also watch a lot of Elo Escojedo. So he's putting every week like 2-3 videos out. It's a lot. And with the limited tools he I think he's doing a great job.
I like the stories that Eloy tells when he does his videos.
It's not just his projects that are great. His storytelling and editing is just bang on for his style. He's absolutely just nailed his style. He's really good at it.
No, I totally agree. But Frank, I'm going to caution you: don't pull Jimmy Page. There's 5 of us sitting around here. You know, you can mention one. Just kidding. I'm just joking.
Him. And what are you working on at the moment? Have you got? Are you willing to divulge what your next YouTube escapade's likely to involve or be, or do you want to keep it under your hat for now?
Yeah, I have 2 products like half done. Both of them are cutting boards. One is edge grain cutting board.
Yeah.
Chaotic pattern. So I have been cutting it like 3 times now. I have to cut it 2 more times and then make the end grain cutting board. So I'm really excited how it will look like. It's made by 9 different types of wood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. From European wood till Bubinga, Purple Heart, everything what I could find in my shop, everything is inside.
Wow,
and I'm really excited. Yeah.
Because it got the mixed dowels in it again.
No, I will just make 2 because I don't have a bandsaw and everything I cut on my table saw. So at the beginning I had 3 pieces. Now I just have 2 pieces after the 4th time of glue up. So
do you find it hard to cut your, you know, when you're doing your end grain cutting boards and you've glued all the lengths together and you're now going to chop them all up before you turn them. When you get to the end of that blank, do you find it difficult to cut those blanks on your big table saw?
No.
You don't. So Because you've got a sliding table, haven't you, as well? Do you use that, or do you use it with the fence?
If I cut cross, I use the slide. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is every 2 years for the past sort of 2016, 2014, I demoed for a company at an enormous woodworking show here in the UK, and because we're demoing for a clamp company, we thought, well, we'll make a whole load of chopping boards, which is obviously lots of cutting, lots of re-gluing and clamping, and hence the reason for doing that. But what I did was, rather than have to go home every night and cut all these blanks myself, there's all these massive companies here. So Alton Dort were there, and so these really big companies with these enormous, like €50,000 combination table saws that they were demonstrating. I was like, oh, I'm demoing for this, and if you've got a machine that's running that you're demoing, would you mind cutting up these bits? Because they always bring like a few bits of laminate and some MDF to show people, and they like, no, you want some really thick oak to cut through, really show what it can do, sort of thing. So this guy was cutting these blanks up for me so that I could then go off and glue them, and he was using one of these big table saws with the slide, and it got down to about, I don't know, maybe 200 millimeters left of the blank to cut, and something happened, and I nearly ran for cover, because this enormous piece of oak that I glued together the previous day very nearly threw back at him because he was using a big long slide. Now, I was just wondering whether you have like a small sled on it, or whether it works on your table, or whether you had any problems at all.
No, because there is a clamp attached to the slide, so you can clamp it down.
Just like on the Makita one?
Yes,
Yeah.
But it is more professional.
Well, not difficult.
But maybe you will see this in my next video, when this will be, I think, next Sunday. I will put it online. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll look forward to that, because I do like. I'm not a big fan of making cutting boards, purely because I make, like, every few years I make like 50 in a week, and it just takes the fun out of it. But I always like watching what other people do, like with yours and the dowels, and Joe with his coasters and all the crazy things that people. I've not got the imagination for that. So, what's everyone else up to and watching this week before we run out of time and Joe starts champing at the bit and wanting to send me death threats?
I'm working on a dead tree.
I saw that video.
Which could mean anything. Which could just be regular wood, because that's dead. But I'm literally working with a dead tree at the moment, man. It's I think it's hopeless, to be quite honest with you. I don't think there's much material left in that tree that's even usable. I'm sorry to say.
There looked like there was quite a big chunk towards the outside of it.
Yeah, and I looked into that, and you know what? It's punky as heck. It's because all the heartwood in that tree that I took down is gone. And so all that's left on the outside is the sapwood, and it had gotten to the point where that had spalted, which I was excited about, because I was going to, if it's spalted, I'll go ahead and take the time, and I'll the worst I can do is make pen blanks, right? But then I started looking into it, and it's all punky, meaning that I would need to pressurize this wood with some kind of a stabilizer in order to even make it worth my while. And by the time you get done with that, and I'm looking at an entire tree here, guys. So. It's just, I think I'm just going to let Mother Nature have that tree back, because and it's my fault, because I should have paid closer attention. A year ago, that tree had leaves on it. And then I just noticed that because it came down in a storm, it snapped in half. And I went, oh, well, I'll go grab that tree, because I'm thinking that's going to be great timber to use. And apparently it was dead, and I hadn't noticed that it died. And birch, in case you don't know, it rots really fast. And yeah, there's really not much usable material there. It's not even suitable for firewood at this point, to be quite honest with you. So.
Oh wow, that's properly gone then.
Yeah, it's definitely history. I might be able to find one piece, but I'd have to go through the entire tree in order to find one piece. And come on, is it really worth that effort? No, no, I'm not going to spend my time doing it.
Well, we all know how cheap and free birch is in your neck of the woods. So obviously you're not working on any projects, so you've probably got loads of time to be watching YouTube. Who have you been watching?
I have been watching a gentleman that I met in Springfield, a gentleman named Brian Way. He put out a video. If you're not familiar with Brian, check out his channel. Brian Way, it's spelled the exact way it sounds, Brian Way. He built an industrial design custom storage bed. And what I really like about the video that he did is not only the way that the project came out, because it came out awesome, but he made it with his son. It was a father and son kind of build video, which I just thought that, I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, I love seeing, dads getting their kids out in the shop and, and passing on to a new generation. And it has everything to do with metalworking, and also has to do with incorporating woodworking as well. So it's a really interesting video to watch. If you haven't checked it out, check out Brian Way. The industrial design custom storage bed that he did with his son. A really good video, and it turned out absolutely fantastic. I love the project.
Wicked. So I'll check down in the notes and go and watch that myself, as I'm sure everyone else will as well. Anyone else doing anything? I'm going to leave Joe until a little bit later, because I want to know a little bit about what he's been up to in the last fortnight, because obviously we didn't speak to him last week. Alan or Jamie?
Yeah, I've actually released 3 videos in 4 days, which is quite shocking for me. Really.
Go girl!
Yeah, I did the Carl Jacobson Carl and Robin Jacobson, should I say, scroll saw portrait. Then I did the large tulip wood bowl, which Alan did a voiceover on it.
About time I got a shout out. Thank you.
Yeah, which I did put your link in the description.
Oh,
and
I didn't watch the video, so go ahead.
Oh, really? doing a Richard on it.
I just came there. I just came to comment on it and give it a like. I didn't actually watch it.
Oh. And obviously, you all know Bill Levolsi's no lathe pen challenge. Well, I had my balls hanging around, so I decided to make a pen out of them.
I'm sorry. What did you say? You had your what hanging around?
I had my balls hanging around, so I decided to make a pen out of them.
Nobody can see it.
Balls.
He's holding his balls up to the camera right now.
They're
Wow.
very smooth.
Golf balls.
They do look smooth.
So you have
Golf ball. Those are
Oh yeah, he sports a Dunlap #1.
So I decided to make a golfer's pen for Bill Levolsi's no lathe pen challenge.
Awesome.
Yeah. As for what's coming up, I'm waiting for some epoxy to turn up so I can do a Pat Lap inspired project. So waiting for that to turn up. As for what I'm watching, first of all, I want to say Shogun Jimmy is nearly at 1,000 subscribers. So if we can all go over and give him a subscribe, that'd be awesome, because I think he deserves it as well.
I think it was on like 990 something when I saw, if I'm not mistaken.
He was very, very
really close.
Yeah, really, really close. But my actual shout out has less than 50 subscribers, and he is an incredible turner. It's OJ Woodworking Crafts. He actually made the Mr. Potato Head for Steve Twidell's Make It Matter campaign. And that just came out absolutely brilliant. So yeah, OJ Woodworking Crafts.
Cool. Well, we'll make sure that they are in the show notes or the links or the descriptions or whatever, some kind of clickable thing for the platform that people are listening on.
But no, you know what I'm working on right now? I'm having so much fun making it. I watched Steve Ramsey's video on that Zelda Hero Sword. What was that, late last week? That was just, I thought it was awesome. And he had a downloadable PDF template for the whole thing. So I printed it off, and I decided to just start hand carving the entire handle in one chunk, which didn't really work out for me. But the side wings I carved out entirely myself, and it just looks really, really cool. I'll put a picture on Instagram. I'm not doing a video on it, but I'm having a ton of fun making it. I'm probably, halfway through it now. Who am I watching? Jim Dockrell from Watertone Woodworks. You guys ever hear him?
Pretty much
Yeah.
every week, because Jim's a regular commenter, isn't he?
Absolutely, he is. But right before we started this podcast, I just got home from his house. He's close enough to me. He's one of the very few shops I can just go hang out in somebody's shop for a while. And the guy makes me laugh the entire time, does some awesome projects, great YouTube channel. So make sure to go check him out.
Excellent. Now, Joe.
Oh, no.
I was getting a little bit, because you've been a bit quiet this week. I'm probably because you're having we're in infesting your holiday time, and for that I make no apologies, because you signed up for this before you went on your gallivanting. But what have you been up to the last 2 weeks now? Because obviously you were away. Tell everyone why you were away.
Yeah, well, being away from the podcast, I was really given two options. I would either stay and speak to you four, or go and get like stabbed millions and millions of times with needles. And I think most people would choose the needles over talking to you four. So that's what I was doing.
Fair enough. No, just to get this, just to get everyone to, this was, you went and got tattoos. You didn't go and stay in some kind of crack den for
No, that was the night
week,
before.
did you? That was right. Okay. So you are now officially, you've got a tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp? No, it's not a tramp stamp.
Oh, I knew it.
No, it's on the back of my right calf.
Oh, it's not in the middle of your back, down towards your buttocks.
No, that spot's already taken.
That's the arrow.
Yeah. No, so I've been tattooed, done quite a bit of travelling. So we went and saw Montezuma's castle and Montezuma's well, which was just an amazing sight to see, and like the history behind those kind of places, like the natives and how they carved out the dwellings in the side of the caves and the walls. And Montezuma's well is like this big natural spring, and it all just collapsed in on itself. So it's like a big pit in the ground with this bubbling water up, and they'd actually created homes right near to the water and stuff. So to see that in person was amazing. And then we also went and saw the Grand Canyon, which is obviously on a lot of people's bucket lists, I would imagine. And to see it in person, it's still one of those surreal experiences, looking out at it and thinking, is it actually real? It looks like a painting when you look at it. And like looking back at my photos, it's still hard to believe that I was actually there to witness it.
Cool. Because isn't it the Grand Canyon? Chris and maybe even Alan will be able to say the point of whatever the point is that's the lowest point in the Grand Canyon, because obviously it's a big long thing, isn't it? And the point between the bit that's the highest, and presumably they're not right next to each other, they're sort of in different places. But isn't that a mile in height?
Yeah, it's just over a mile deep. Yeah.
That is just almost inconceivable of, judging distance to a mile away and then going up. That's like, whoa, that's pretty insane.
But it's like basically as high as the planes fly. So it's like to do that deep from where you're actually standing. It's
bonkers,
crazy.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, stand on the ledge and just look down.
But there were some sections where you could actually almost do that. I mean, like there's quite a lot of trees and shrubbery where we was, like, because there's standing platforms for you to view out. But every now and again, like, you get a peek and you could actually see right down and see the water and stuff like that. So it was an amazing sight.
The Grand Canyon is absolutely amazing, and what Joe's not telling you is that it's huge. I mean, and it's absolutely huge, and there are a ton of places that you can actually go and be a tourist and check out different views of the Grand Canyon. I mean, because it encompasses quite a large space, and so there's a lot of tourist places you can stop and look at different views of the Grand Canyon. And I was asking Joe earlier when he told me he was going. I said, "Are you going to take the Burro Trail?" Because they actually have little donkeys you can get on and ride down these trails. Stable as hell, but I'm telling you, that has to be one of the scariest little trips you could possibly make, is sitting on the back of one of these little burros and having them travel down to the floor of the Grand Canyon and then back up. It's just, I might be a little unnerved.
I don't know who's more stupid, the person getting on a creature that's dangerous at both ends and tricky in the middle, or the thing that does it day in, day out, regular trips both ways. I've been so busy. I'm not joking. I've been like a headless chicken this last few days. I've done I did. Do you remember? I might have started making those cabinets for Cat before Christmas. They're still not finished. I had another 3 cabinets to make for a customer last week, and then go and fit. And I spent a day fitting them, and that was a late finish. And I've been doing quotes for people left, right, and centre. I've got a job coming up in May, which I've just finished quoting for. It took me 2 days to quote. That's going to be a month's job, like a month long. So it's just like going around all over the place. But I should, in theory, fingers crossed, have a video coming out by the time this airs for the cabinets that I made and fitted this week. So that was that. But I just haven't had time to watch so many, hardly anything. But that said, did anyone, and this is really bizarre because I don't normally shout out massive, huge channels, but did people see Bob Claggett's last video? Has everyone seen that? I'm sure everyone's seen that.
The concrete and epoxy.
Concrete and epoxy. That was, I really liked the whole idea of that, because there's lots of concrete videos out there. There's lots of kind of casting epoxy, but I hadn't seen any that blended. If anyone's not seen it, then I'd be very surprised. Just a really cool table. Just a shame there weren't any Grindelows or anything in the water there for the Harry Potter people out there.
Frank, thanks for taking the time to come on with us. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting. Genuinely interesting speaking to you, and make sure. And Jamie mentioned Shogun Jimmy's channel. I just had a quick sneaky look at your channel, Frank, and according to my feed, you're up to 960 subscribers now. Is that about right?
Oh, wow.
I would like to jump on Jamie's bandwagon and say to everyone, if you're not, let's try and get Frank into that 1,000 subscriber plus by the time we get the next episode out, because that gives us like 3 days to get the video out, and then and so it gives. I think we can do it by the next episode. 40 people is nothing. Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Make a little pledge. Brilliant. So where can everyone find your channel on? And you must be in other places as well, Frank, and social media and whatnot.
Yes. You can find me on YouTube under Sawblade Projects, on Instagram under Sawblade Projects, and on Facebook under Sawblade Projects. So
pretty much the usual suspects, Sawblade Projects. So go and check those out, guys, and show Frank some love. What about you, Chris? Where can we find you?
The usual places. On YouTube, under my name, Chris Cute. Under Facebook, Make the First Cut.
Still no Instagram account? No?
No, I don't have.
Don't even explain it.
I don't. Forget it. Go ahead, move on.
I love just randomly sometimes throwing things like that in. Poor Chris is like a rabbit in the headlights. Where did that come from? What about you, Alan? Where can everyone find you on social media?
Oh, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under The Woodworking Junkie.
Excellent. Jamie?
You can find me on YouTube at JP Woodwork and Twitter and Instagram at JP_Woodwork.
And it doesn't actually say Joe on here because I deleted Joe because he wasn't on the last show. But presumably, Joe, I do have notes. See, I do actually have notes, so people don't believe me. But Joe, where can everyone find you?
That's Average Joe's Joinery on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Average Joe's Photography on Instagram.
Excellent. So make sure you go over and subscribe to any and all of us, but definitely go over and check out Frank's channel and make sure you subscribe to him, because I'd love for him to get to 1,000 subscribers and kind of over that little milestone. So check the little icon, make sure you get the alerts for people's new content as well, because that helps everyone out. So I've been Rick Morley. A big thank you to Frank for coming on. You can find me at brainfizz.uk and under my name on YouTube. Once again, thanks very much, and we will see you next time. So you take care.
See you.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you next week.
See you later, everybody.
Have a week.
There's Alan, my little snowball.